Now we're not putting out there to be worried and concerned. Awareness is better than proactive action is better than reactive.
And look, I think that the reality of business, the reality particularly of small business, which is where the majority of RTOs fall into, is that there are certain things that don't get done within a lot of RTOs until they know that they are coming up for an audit. Mm-hmm. The amount of RTOs, validation is 100%. Trainer matrices,
yes,
is another one that just don't get updated with the frequency until people go, oh yeah, we're going into audit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mm-hmm. So
or they know their re-registration is coming up, yes, so they have to sort of put it all together.
Yeah.
So it goes down the same line then of TASs, and whether you're delivering something that you had put together quite quickly because you had a client who wanted it, and you haven't quite caught up with the rest of the admin that you needed to do.
Yeah. You know, they had a TAS, but realistically you've got 3 different unit selections, you've got 4 different cohorts that you're working with.
So the changes to the standards reflecting the skills and knowledge required for the whole RTO staff group.
I mean, but on the other side, like I like the idea of RTOs that actually are regulating themselves and are proactive and can demonstrate that. You know, I like the idea of giving them that little bit more flexibility to be able to add a qualification to scope.
Yeah. It's a business decision. I think we have to go back to the fact that an RTO is actually a business. You're in the business of training and skilling people to get a job or a pathway or a new skill or a new knowledge, even if it's something that they just want to do because that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But there is a point, even if you're a non-for-profit, right? There are profit and non-for-profit. You still have to have a business running as a business. It has to adhere to all the requirements of varieties of legislation, whether it be in your sector or whether it be something simple like copyright, or whether it's something simple like reasonable adjustment and disability awareness. These are business related activities that go across all parts of your business. So if you're an RTO, small, medium or large, you all should be looking at this as a business governance risk management process.
Yeah.
And then the standards should be able to sit perfectly in front of you and go, yeah, well, we do that here, here and here.
Yeah.
Rather than going, this is a standard, then this is my evidence. This is a standard, this is my evidence.
Yeah.
Look at it from the business perspective first.
So for those of you that are looking at the new draft standards, as Vanessa has said, I think task number 1 for you, go and read the standards, decide whether or not you think the language and terminology is appropriate, and provide your feedback on that.
Absolutely. Get the right one too, because there's a 2022 one in the DEWA site.
Yes.
But I'm having trouble finding the 2023. I know they emailed it to me, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, you got to negotiate a little bit.
Maybe you just
I'll find it, and I'll put the link below for anyone who wants it. So please do read that and do provide some feedback, participate in the process. I know I occasionally see comments on LinkedIn that are like, I've put in feedback before and it didn't have any good, but you know, guys, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So, you know, suck it up.
It's like voting,
it's tough luck. The other part of that, I think, is that if you are preparing for the new standards, you do need to start, like we've certainly in Anawaya with our clients, we've already started updating our policies and procedures and looking at some of the things. I think one of the big areas that I'm really interested in with the new standards is in and around more information around learner support, supporting learners' social emotional well-being, and having stronger processes for learner progression. So for RTOs that are funded and for RTOs that are in the CRICOS space, you will already have a learner progression policy, which will align to how you meet your state funding contract or the ESOS standards, but the new standards do have a process. So if you're a short course RTO, if you are solely a fee-for-service RTO, you may not have a really robust learner support policy. Your enrollment process may not really start to consider and think about how we're going to support learners' social, emotional well-being, mental health, things like that. And you might not have a process for managing progression. And it may be that you've got a system in place instead where you've got learners on your books that have been there for 4 years and you've never actually bothered to close them out. You know, that's definitely something, a huge thing. That's something we see when we start to work with a lot of student management systems, is we'll find that there's a bulk of learners that have just been sitting there and there hasn't been that regular interaction.
The other thing I see is that providers created or purchased policies and procedure manuals when they first came on board, never contextualized them, but also never made sure they were actually adhered to or followed, because they've gone, oh, we've got one, and that's where it stopped.
Yeah.
Or it's dated or signed by a previous CEO, and you think, oh, well, it didn't change, so why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother is because you need to, because it needs to reflect what you're currently doing. So when you are reviewing them, have you got one? Yes or no is an easy answer.
Yes.
Read it, and does it actually make sense is another thing to do. But then also go and check that it's actually being applied.
And that's going to relate in and a lot to the staff capacity.
Yes.
That I think is going to be more of a focus in the new standards.
Yeah, I think that will be really interesting to watch.
It's not going to be enough, guys, just to solely make sure that your trainers are undertaking some PD.
Oh, no.
The new fit and proper person really does outline whether or not you've got managers, owners in the business that know what they're doing and are appropriate for the roles that they've been put into.
And they understand them.
Yeah.
Because some people have been put into roles and they really didn't understand the complexity or their actual responsibilities.
Yes. And you're going to have to make sure that you're investing in your sales staff, your BDMs, your admin, who have responsibilities under the standards as well. And those responsibilities may change and build a little bit more with relationship to identifying learner needs and being able to support learners. And look, that doesn't mean, guys, that we're expecting every RTO to have a full-time counselor.
No.
You know,
you need to know where to access it.
That's right.
When you need it.
Yeah. And you also need to know at what point you turn around and go, hey, we know that you're struggling. We know that it's having an impact on your studies. And therefore, you know, you actually need to go and, you know, we need to look at some other support mechanisms, or, you know, I think it's worthwhile considering some other support mechanisms and things like that.
I think it's really important that I've seen a lot of learner manuals or handbooks, and they refer to all these different places and these links that they can go to. Go and check that they're working. Go and check that those numbers are actually current. There's a lot of things that have changed over the years, especially through COVID. Things have been updated, things have been changed. Make sure your information is changed. So it's as simple as, if you haven't done this before, get a calendar out, plan each month to say, we're going to focus on this then for that month, and then actually focus on everything in your business associated with that one particular area. The people, the policies, the information, the data, and then something I never see done well on a regular basis, and that's monitoring data for improvement and then seeing the improvement actions. So that you can go through the whole process, because there's nothing like being confident that you've done something. So when somebody says anything related to, say, learner support, you go, oh yeah, we did that in this month, and we covered all of these things, and all these people were involved, and we looked at this evidence, and these are the things we changed because of these things needed to be updated. I mean, how much easier is that than to go, I don't know.
I think for a lot of people, they look at like the entirety of the standards and they kind of look at it and go, oh, where do I start? If I was needing to kind of structure my year and look at what sort of quality things I needed and what sort of activities could work, what is one of the things that I could use to help me out with that?
The compliance journal.
So this was done by yourself and Carmel Guy.
Yes. It was. So Carmel and I have known each other for a very long time. We used to both work at TAFE back in the 90s. So not showing age at all. So we've worked in the sector for a very long time, and we wanted to be able to create something that was especially for those who are looking at compliance. Now that can be across multiple roles. And we designed it so that people can start thinking big picture. There's a vision board in there. There are monthly action focus parts. There's ideas, notes, sections where you can just blurb out, write a little picture, do a flow chart. But it's all kept together. And then there's also things in there. There's even, you may or may not use it. We don't mind. There's a budget section. So even if you're doing a particular quality activity, actually work out how much the process is costing. And then there's also a mental break section in there to get you to go, hang on a second, let's see how we feel in the compliance role. Have a mental moment. Just get yourself both grounded.
A mental moment.
It's grounded and back into the center of focus and look after yourself.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs to do that.
Compliance can be stressful.
Oh, it can be. So
Well,
yes, we created that, and that's available both on Carmel's and my sites.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think we will leave that here for today. We will be doing, we've got one more video coming out with myself and the lovely divine Miss M. But we hope you guys enjoyed this. Babs, where can they find all of your stuff?
At the prickleadersuite.com.au website.
And if you want to find out anything more about what we do at Anawire, you can go to www.anawire.org. I am Lauren Hollows.
And I'm Vanessa McCarthy.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.